ladies and gents, and welcome to another edition of Beyond Retro Presents, a series that Tyler and I kind of do as full-length commentary tracks for some of our favorite feature films. Today's episode is going to be on The Fly, which, honestly, a movie I have not watched in a long time, so this was a wonderful revisit, and I'm probably going to say this plenty of times over and over throughout our viewing of the film. I feel like this movie is as close as we have gotten to what I think of as monster movies. It really takes you back. I mean, obviously it's gorier, it's messier, but all the elements are there, and it really feels like one of those classic Universal monster movies to me. Tyler, how's it going?
All right. I mean, I this film means a great deal to me, just because it's just resonated with me. It's, there was a lot of hype around it when I was a kid because of what it was talked about a lot, and kind of one of those films that you don't want to watch that. Oh, it's just so gory and nasty, and I mean, it's a perfect film. I mean, there's the special effects are beat the hell out of any kind of computer bullshit we see today.
Yeah, won an Oscar for best makeup. So
certainly did,
yeah.
And rightfully so.
Right.
It's a shame like Jeff Goldblum did get like a nomination for his portrayal of everything.
Something you would think maybe like a Golden Globe at least.
Yeah, just something. I mean, if you're not gonna give it to him, fine, but a nomination for his, and Gina Davis too. I mean, that's like there's, and we'll get into that once we get going. But I mean, it is a classic monster movie feel with an 80s. It's not a dated film either. Like,
no.
You don't look at it like, oh God, look at what they're wearing kind of thing. Or listen to the music. It's a timeless film. It's not a time capsule film. It's a film that it's a staple of 80s entertainment. And that's one of the many reasons why the 80s is the last great decade of entertainment in general, especially with movies. But it was the first Cronenberg film I've ever seen, and I think it's his most successful one, probably.
Yeah, for sure. It's his most successful. But Cronenberg himself, I've only seen a couple other of his movies. He definitely, definitely has an eye. Like his movies are weird. Like if you guys are wanting to dip into his filmography, I would say that this is his most accessible film. Everything else is, for the most part,
History of Violence is like a good, It's not out there. It's based on a graphic novel, but still, it's
But when you
it's not like jumping into Scanners or Naked Lunch or Videodrome.
I was gonna kind of glance over at his filmography here. Videodrome, Naked Lunch especially. Naked Lunch is that's out there film. So if you guys are kind of wanting to look for some weird shit, I would recommend those movies to you. What else should we say before we dive on into this?
It for me, it also solidifies just how underused Jeff Goldblum is. When you see how good he is in this, yes, the guy has worked for years and has not stopped. But I kind of feel like it's a shame that he hasn't got more starring roles. Like he would show up in Independence Day, Jurassic Park, big juggernaut films as a supporting role in a highly successful movie, and it just kind of felt like, why hasn't this guy gotten more starring roles when he did so good in something like this?
Maybe his choice. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he likes playing the supporting character more.
Yeah, and I've never really stopped to just dig. I just over time have noticed he's underused. I feel like Michael Keaton too, and an A+ actor doesn't get as much roles or leading roles as I felt like he deserves. But I'm sure there's reasons behind all of it.
Well, I'll throw you in this then. What kind of, if he's going to be the leading man, what would you want Goldblum to play? What kind of character would you want him to be?
I mean, I'm not saying he would be like an action hero lead, but I could see him being. I think it'd be interesting to see him play a villain, like an actual villain with his soft-spoken.
Well, you didn't like him in Thor Ragnarok?
No, not like that. God, no. No. I mean, an actual like villain. Because he gradually becomes a villain in this, but not your quintessential villain. And it's an effect of the splicing with the fly and everything, and that the insect politics.
It's a tragic. It's
a very tragic film, but it doesn't leave you feeling like you've been punched in the stomach like Edward Scissorhands does. This is something I've watched twice this week. And I still get excited about it. There's some very sad moments, and we'll touch on this when they arrive. Howard Shore's score intensifies that as well. But you feel bad for everybody in this film, even John Getz, the slimy ex-boyfriend who's great in everything he's in.
Yeah, he definitely he gets his a little bit in the end there.
But you feel bad for him, like God, man, like of all horrific things to happen to the guy, like and I wouldn't change it because I love what happens, but God, you just feel bad for such atrocities to happen to somebody, man.
Yeah, and the other thing about this movie, there's not that many characters.
It's a small cast.
And it's a very small cast. Yeah,
it's not necessary to have more than three. I would think about that too. Like it's a 3-actor story, 3-character story essentially. Everybody else is just in the background or in the scene, but has no real, Tawny, the girl he picks up in the bar, maybe has a slightly bigger role, but she's in and out. She serves no.
And the guy that he arm wrestles.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. But let's go ahead and get this sucker going. And the other thing, it's only like an hour and a half long. There's no
wasted. Yes. It doesn't have to be a 3-hour, bar fest of like, oh, look at all this like shitty exposition scenes. Oh, look at all this, unnecessary filler to make it look like your film's more prestigious or whatever. I don't know what the meaning behind it is, but it just shows you why the 80s had the best, man. So
all right, well, without any further ado, Tyler, give us that countdown. I want to encourage you guys to pop in your DVD if you have a digital copy, or I
have it on Blu-ray here. The Brothers Bishop got it for me for Christmas many years ago.
I don't think that it's on any streaming service to watch for free. Well, technically not free because you're paying for it, but I don't know if it's on Prime Video or Netflix. I probably should have.
No, I know it's not on Netflix.
All right.
Anytime it's anything horror related on there, it's like always some like crummy ass like.
Yeah, there is a lot of bullshit horror films on Netflix. A lot. But with that said, Tyler, give us a countdown and we'll get going.
All right, 3, 2, 1, action. Classic shorter Fox intro there.
Yeah.
And I love this score, man. Just boom, right on. I mean, just we're off and running with Howard Shore's bombastic operatic score. Which
I mean, that I feel like that's part of the reason too that I get those vibes of it feling like
a classic horror film,
a classic monster movie.
Yeah. I mean, it just amps up what a great logo too. The black, green, and blue. And I see there's a lot of that in this film too. When going rewatching this film too, it's like the color scheme, and that sometimes as I've gotten older, I noticed more and more stuff because I revisit films like this constantly because I watched them for so many years, and just noticing like the color scheme, like the muted colors throughout the film. There's a little bit of green here, but it's a dark film in general, just from like Seth's apartment to what I've thought was supposed. It's filmed in Vancouver, but I've always felt it was like New York, almost.
Well, I know that they did that a lot in movies. They would go and film in Canada and play it off like this is New York City.
Like Jason Takes Manhattan was supposed to be New York, also.
Yeah. I know that Toronto is a very popular spot to do that in as well.
And if you can get away with it, then I think it works well because I've never been to New York. I know what it looks like in movies and stuff like that. I have seen enough of New York to know what it's supposed to look like.
I've seen enough of New York that I don't think I ever want to like go visit.
I mean, there's certain parts that I like. I want to see like Central Park, where like Louis Tully jumps over the.
Then you want to see the firehouse.
The firehouse. I want to see where Raph duked it out with Casey Jones, stuff like that. There's so many movie references, and what's so good about this too is like we just jump right into this conversation that's going on. Like they don't take time to introduce
Yeah.
who they
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it doesn't jump in of like him working on his experiments. It's just here's the conversation. Here's what I'm working on. You want to see it?
yeah, and we don't even see how they meet. It's just we're right. Like she probably approaches him and want to know, what his contribution is to Bartok Industries, and I just like that. You don't feel like you're missing something, like that something else could be added to this introduction to these two to amplify or add extra flavoring, because what works too is, I mean, kind of jumping ahead here, is that these two, I think, started dating on this film.
Yeah, because they were married for a few years.
Yeah, because they did Earth Girls Are Easy together too. So they spent like the latter half of the '80s married. So I think they got together on this film, which, not that it has to happen with every film, but it does make the relationship on screen that much more realistic when they really had something going here. And I know in some films, when you're trying to find a relationship believable in a short movie, you either have to find the right pacing or the right kind of scenes to really make it believable. And I feel like these two are given enough screen time before all hell breaks loose to buy that their time together is over a month. They don't really say it, but that's kind of how I pick it up
Right.
on.
His look there in the car is I've had that many a time when like you get the stomach bubbles and you need to find the closest exit because you're gonna have to take a massive shit. But in his case,
that was like me on the bus in high school, like thinking, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be trapped on this bus. I'm gonna mess myself." And I love this setting of his apartment, like this like back alley, like freight apartments.
I like the look. I like the look on her face. It's like, am I gonna get killed?
Yeah, and she should be scared because the door. It's like a meat packing house, like a lot of these, like in a Fatal Attraction or a Perfect Murder. A lot of these like big loft apartments that used to be meat houses or something like that.
Just seems like a very cold place. Honestly.
Very cold, but it works. Like you kind of feel like the lighting here. It's a lot of black.
I see. This is what I like. Goldblum does well. He plays the eccentric, sort of just a weirdo.
But not to the point where you feel like from her perspective, yeah, like you brought me here. You're not showing anything. You're just playing the piano. Like that makes sense. But even if you met a guy like this in real life, you don't feel like you would be like, oh God, it's him again. You kind of feel like he's different.
Yeah, no, he's weird, but in a charming way, as yeah. She'll find out.
Yeah. I would love to have a telepod on display in my place. No, it doesn't need to work, but what an excellent like conversation starter to have that somewhere in your house, a telepod.
I think it'd be cool if you like put like a big huge pillow in there. You just like sleep in it.
Oh yeah, because they look like they're quite spacious. That you could just go in there and just take like a little cat nap. I am surprised that when McFarlane did the Fly figure that he didn't come with the telepod, or why NECA hasn't gone back to revisit the Fly, like the final version, and then like the variations of Seth Brundle, especially towards the end. Yeah. Give us a telepod prop to go along, like the diorama sets, like they've done with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right. No, that'd be cool. Come on, NECA. Yeah. Get on it.
Get on it, man. You can revisit this stuff. They did it with RoboCop. They've done it with Jason and Freddy. Revisit the Fly, damn it. Hell, even the Fly 2, which I've only watched once, but for some reason I always thought that you had like a fondness for Jeff Goldblum in general, because I remember like when years ago you had that picture of him in your apartment, like him in the bathroom with his finger up. So.
Hey, he's still hanging up, man.
Okay,
he's still hanging up. I do. I mean, he's kind of iconic, really. He's been in two of the biggest films ever.
Yeah. Whether you like Independence Day or not, you can't deny it was a...
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge hit. I still have a soft spot for it. It's not a particularly good film by any means, but if it's on, it's, I don't know, it's like a comfort food movie in a way.
I did find this quite seductive as a teen, like with Geena Davis slipping off her arm, like, yeah, I think I've been reacting the same way.
I mean, Geena Davis, I had a crush on her even going back to like I mean, obviously, this film was before the film I'm about to bring up, but A League of Their Own. I like that. Yeah. But she's looking mighty fine in this picture.
Yes, she is, and she does such a damn good job in this. And she was an acting staple for quite a while too, into the '90s, like with Long Kiss Goodnight, and you had Thelma and Louise and League of Their Own. I mean, she's Cutthroat Island, which I know like bankrupted Orion Pictures, but she's had a career that I think she should be quite proud of. And
I know that she was doing like the archery and almost like made the Olympic team or something. I remember that being like a news story at one point. I think it was like the 2000 Olympics.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like around that time, like her career pretty much kind of dwindled down. But I think she's quite proud of this film. I think anybody involved, this is not a film that I don't think anybody would ever be. Anybody, I mean, of course, it's a small cast, but I know there's some films like Kevin Bacon's always like looked down upon Friday the 13th and Tremors, and in latter years has come around to both of them to be.
I feel like that's more of a thing of they're wanting to be serious and accomplished, but then as they get older, they look back and they're like, all right, yeah, people really enjoy these, so I will finally embrace it. It sucks that it takes people sometimes to come around to their body of work.
Yeah, when something you did is making so much money, people are wearing T-shirts of it and buying action figures and posters and just love watching your film. And I mean, I've tried to look at it from an actor's standpoint of like why they would be embarrassed over certain stuff, and I get it. But something like this, where you feel like it's a horror movie with science fiction and drama, but it's also something that it's got the elements of a horror movie, but it's done with such taste and charisma that you kind of feel like, why can't we get more horror movies that balance this out quite well? Where you get behind the actors and the story, and the gore serves a purpose. It's not done just to be like, let's see how nasty we can get and just prolong this death. It makes sense. It's part of the transformation. It's not done for shock value. Even though, I mean, yes, it is to a certain extent, but there's purpose behind it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, where do you go from that? Modern Hollywood, it's like, let's get the kids in. Let's make ghost stories.
Even if that's the case, like, at what point does Hollywood say, look, we don't have to make everything moronic for our audience. We can give them something that makes them walk away feeling like I was highly entertained, and not from just a mindless bullshit standpoint, but I mean, like, that was really good. A film that you can walk out of and be talking about it over and over again, and not just from like, boy, that was stupid. Like, that was really cool. Like, I really felt bad for him. Like, this is one of those films that you walk out of it. Had we been old enough, we were 2 years old when this movie came out.
Yeah.
So people who are older than us, I envy you for being able to have seen this in theaters, because there are certain films I when I watch, I wish I could have seen that in theaters, and this is one of them.
I get a feeling that Joe, the one time he did watch it, was probably in the theaters.
Probably, and he probably got sick because he probably had like a bad like McDonald's experience, and that's why he's like, I've only seen it once because I had a tragic vomiting experience or something like that.
Well, I mean,
there's always some sort of
there are those certain foods that I think about too that I have eaten and thrown up, and then any other times you throw up after that, you can kind of taste it in your mouth before you throw up, and like I had that problem with eggs for a while, and that was the worst.
I haven't drank root beer because I got deathly sick after like a Cub Scout meeting, and I had root beer that day, and I was associated vomiting with root beer, and I've not touched it since. That was almost 30 years ago.
I mean, it's not like you'd be able to drink it anyway, right? Because it would mess with your acid reflux.
Even so, but even when I was drinking soda, like in my kid years and my teenage and adult years too, I would never touch root beer ever.
I like root beer.
Root beer flavored suckers. Like I
like root beer. It's just moderation with that. I don't drink it that often.
It's like the lights in this building are green.
I like the architecture of that building.
Oh, it's beautiful. And it's I remember there was discussion too, and here we are with John Getz here, which I know Nathan has seen. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, where he plays the sleazy businessman hitting on Christina Applegate. God, He is somebody that me and my brother would just laugh hysterically because of how slimy he is.
It's been a long time since I've watched that movie. Honestly, it's been a while. I do recall it when it came out. It was kind of like a moderate hit. I remember people like digging that quite a bit, but I haven't
I
watched
loved
it
it
in a
as
while.
a kid. It's been years since I've seen it too, and it's a film I would love to revisit. I'm sure it's not the knee slapper I thought as a kid, but I still remember it being like a good movie though. But yeah, of course he was a great part in it.
Yeah, he plays the sleazy guy very well.
When he in Men at Work, where he plays the toxic waste businessman responsible for killing the guy running for governor, I think, and our town council. It was those two films. I think this is really all I can name off the top of my head that I have seen with him in it, and that I of course The Fly too. Where he comes back and replaces his role as Stathis Born. But I've always enjoyed seeing it. Like, he's got that look of just sleaze and slime, and he's just always a memorable character, no matter what I've seen him in. Even unfortunately, it's been a few things. Just trying to where that rant about him would lead into here, but
I just like how we're already still on the ground running with the story. Like, honestly, there is a lot of talking going on here at the beginning. We don't really get into more aspects of how, like, we don't get him in there with the fly splicing everything until, you know, we're a good halfway into the movie, maybe more than
about
half.
The hour mark around because this movie is just over an hour and a half. It's like 96 minutes, and that's what makes it so magical, is to have this film and capitalize on what you just said. There's a lot of character building and situation building here, because you're trying, and it works and it makes sense. And I feel like, I don't know, I guess today's people's attention span, where they're just so used to have everything at their fingertips. I don't know. I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt. If you were to show this to a film study class in a high school or a freshman class, I mean, obviously they're going to have to watch it, but I feel like this is a film that would hold their attention, because, I mean, obviously when you see the title, you know it's coming. Like, you're not left in the, you know, like, where is this going? Like, if you see the trailers for this film that came out in '86, there's no hiding around what this film is building to, and the title itself, the poster, which is beautiful, which I'm going to try and buy that poster myself. I've been trying to do it for years, and
I thought you had it already, but I guess if you had it, it'd be sitting behind you right now.
Well, yeah, and I've kept delay, and I found a couple to buy pretty cheap on eBay, so I think I'm going to pull the trigger this afternoon, so I can finally say, after all these years, I finally own that beautiful poster. Folded, yes.
Right on.
Yeah. So don't even think about it.
I want to buy them all. You can't have it.
Yeah, just so you could piss me off. But I love that poster artwork of the fly leg stepping out and the human hand stepping out. Like, that says everything. So if that doesn't tell you, like, there's not a mystery to this, you know, because of this. Because, yeah, it does take a little while, but with such a short running time, once it gets going, then it doesn't stop, and it gets progressively. Boom, boom. He's worse.
Also, just when you think this guy can't get any sleazier, he's got a key to the apartment, because obviously they've dated before, and he's in there taking a shower.
And I like how they delay that. Like, they don't reveal right away that these two dated. Like, you find out here, which makes his role in it that much more menacing and forgivable to a certain extent as well. But I always like that line, is like, it's in the neighborhood, felt a bit scummy. Just his delivery of that just sounds, you know, this guy is such an egomaniac that only John gets.
Rough day.
Deliver. Which is a ballsy thing to do.
I mean, it is. I don't know. I'm assuming his angle was like, she'll see me naked and she'll want to fuck me, I guess. I don't know.
Right here in the bathroom, yeah. Which, I mean, because we find out later on that he was a professor at college and got her in journalism and everything. So, therefore, he must have this empowering seduction over her, so that even though they've fallen apart in his eyes, they work together. I can get her back, no problem, because I'm Stathis. With a name like Stathis Born, I mean that reeks of like just pompous ass. Anyway.
Yeah, that's usually how assholes are. They don't look at it. He looks at this as like a conquest of like, oh, she'll be back. She's coming back. I'll make her come back. And
then when he finds out she's seeing Seth, like he's like humbled and just like broken, like he doesn't know how to respond to this. Just he's. Especially when he says later on, like, I don't want you disappearing from my life. But then he cans that with, what about sex? Just stress relieving sex. Just
what
lines
a dick.
Like that.
What a dick. and yet later on in the film, even though he kind of gets his, you still feel bad for him. So
very bad. Like I don't. Every time I've watched this over the years, like he is sleaze, and you don't like what he does. But when Gina's facing the pregnancy, like he's there, like legit. You don't feel like he's trying to make a pass at or take advantage of the situation. Like you feel like he's trying to help because he's been humble. Like to see that she's moved on. Like he can't be the pompous ass that he is here. Like he has to change. And by that point, he's only seen as the enemy to Jeff Goldblum, and the fly instinct takes over. And I don't know what's worse. I think when he burns his foot off is probably the more gruesome because it just looks so. He peels the foot off.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the special effects in this film. It's very, very well done.
Oh man!
And once again, when those scenes come up, we'll probably discuss like we usually do. It's like why does it all have to be done in a computer when doing it this way is so much more convincing? Like.
And I'm sure there are ways. There's got to be ways. If straight-to-video movies are working on shoestring budgets.
Oh, but before we keep going, this part is very sad.
It is.
He's doing. He's before it's just inanimate objects that would transport. Now he's trying it with one of his monkeys, and
this poor baboon just turned inside out.
Yeah. A good jump scare. Yeah. I like how the music was there to build up like it might work, and then when that happens, it just goes right into like the tragic. And this is pretty nasty.
Yeah, like it's delayed, and you hear the sounds of it. Oh, what the hell are we going to see here? And you're like, good God, man, intestines, and it's still alive. Now that's something like I'm glad we didn't see how they got rid of it or what they did to put it out of its misery.
You don't have to.
Don't have to. Just. That's an unfortunate thing, and it shows on his face. Like, I just killed a baboon, and he feels bad for it. And plus, it's another failure.
I like that line. Fuck is what I'm thinking.
I think that's like a daily mind of like something that Nathan says at work a lot.
Yeah, I need to. Honestly, I just need to like screen grab that and just be like post it on Facebook or something. Yeah. Just be like, this is a.
Make sure you get the subtitle in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just post that. And all I need to say, and I'll give you like a thumbs up or like I'll even give you a heart. Like that's great, man.
Facebook is trash anyway.
Yeah.
It's lots of just tons of emotions in it. Really, like you go from this to thinking he's done it successfully, feeling good for a while, then feeling bad, then kind of feeling better, then getting worse.
It adds to the severity of trying to do this, so that when he does do it, you're led to believe what could possibly happen. It leaves. I mean, obviously, all the questions are answered as the film progresses, but when you see just what it can do, makes it that much more terrifying. That if you're sitting in the theater in 1986 and you see him go through, obviously it's not going to happen, but it builds up the danger of what he's tampering around with here.
And I like his theory on this with his clothes. It's like, I just have this 5 sets of the same thing. I never have to think about it. I can concentrate using my brain and my thought process on something else.
Which from a guy who clearly doesn't get out much, as been mentioned already, makes sense for his character. That Einstein is someone he looks up to, of course. And why would you waste time if you don't go out, you don't socialize, you don't interact with women that much, you don't have worrying about what you wear, makes sense for the character. I like, she's suggesting, she goes, cheeseburger again. It's just a fun little like flirtatious thing that, saying that she remembered his approach and he thinks it's funny. I think it's just this romance that's unraveling here. It's done so naturally. Like it doesn't feel forced because she sees that he's a vulnerable guy, a good guy, a guy who cares. And she sees it's Goldblum.
And then she just has to crawl on top of him.
Yeah, I mean that's the charm of Goldblum.
And that's the other thing too. We don't get like explicit sex scenes or anything like this. That you just see them making out, and then boom, they wake up later.
Yeah,
and
I mean we see a little bit of a writing scene, but it's not explicit. You don't see,
Yeah,
like she's sitting there bucking all over him, like, oh God, I'm not ready to quit yet. Don't you come on me now, we don't get that, and that's which in movies too. I mean, it's I can appreciate it because they don't do it anymore because they're scared. Like, oh, it's all rating. Can't get them damn kids in there. It's like what you do realize there are adults that go to movies too. So it's not like everything's meant for 12-year-olds. But I like this too because this is like you think, will this play any purpose? And it does. It's just like a little foreshadowing that cut will come up later on in the film. It's like everything has a purpose.
Yeah.
And that's for such a short movie. I mean, you have to be precise. Timing is everything. Pacing is everything. Everything's got to be proper. And for something that relies so much on science too, like you got to come up with a logical way of explaining this that, it's science. You can get away with using kind of made up stuff to a certain degree, but a lot of this sounds logical. It doesn't sound, I mean, you have to buy it.
Right.
The idea that he's created a method of teleportation. But what were you going to say there, bud?
No, I was just going to, actually, now I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Damn it.
It'll come back to me, I think. Maybe. Oh, no, I was going to say, yeah, but there's also some 90-minute films that still feel like they're too long, Like, there's some things that are made that even though the film is short, doesn't have the lasting appeal. Now, it makes me think, and no, this is not where I'm going with this exactly, but you know how Kung Fury is only like half hour?
Yeah.
If they were to make that a 90, which I think they are, a 90-minute film, will that, will it start to kind of just get boring?
Yeah, and I mean, because when we did our Toxic Avenger discussion, revisiting that, it felt like a hell of a lot long. It's not even an hour and a half, but it felt like a much longer film. And that's probably because certain scenes don't serve much of a purpose in terms of like everything we're seeing here is pushing the storyline. This teleporting the steak that he's had a breakthrough, like in testing this. Okay, I'm gonna teach the computer about the flesh. Like it keeps the story rolling, and that's why it's in terms of like cutting off the fat of this of these scenes or making sure these scenes serve a purpose. Does it keep the story going? Does it help the character development? Does it do anything to benefit the audience in viewing? And
I should specify, I should have said baboon instead of monkey, because
I was going to call you out that because that's what he says earlier too. But
yeah, that's what he said just now. Like,
yeah,
he corrected her. So apologies on that. I meant to say baboon.
Yeah, come on. Otherwise, some social justice, PC prick is going to come after you. And, hey,
get it right.
I was like, hey, look, someone watched the podcast. Like, thank you.
Well, we got a few people here in the chat now. I'll acknowledge them once we're done with the commentary and we finish up and everything. But I do see you guys. I am reading the chat as well.
But you're not the focal point here, so get off your ego trip there. All right.
Oh, whatever.
We're focusing on Goldblum and Gina here.
I thought somehow you're going to find a way to turn that into like, well, we're focusing on me right now, okay?
I mean, I can't do that. I don't have to really think about that. I can just work that in.
No.
So, but you know what?
No.
I'm just not going to do it.
Fetch me my bucket. It's time to throw up.
Now there's a T-shirt. Give me a bucket. Yeah, she likes him, like that music to amplify that. You know, she likes him. Like, even though they slept together, but that right there says like she really likes him. Like, she's got feelings for him already, just by showing that moment in the music. And get ready to see that we have a classic stalker on our hands.
I mean,
here.
either that or she just thought the door looked really nice.
Which, you know what? Maybe she's like, you know what? There's some sort of artistic vibe I get from this, shanty building here.
And of
I'm
course,
also wondering how long he stayed there.
I feel like he probably showed up that night, saw her car was there, and then came back early enough. I don't know,
imagine,
but the way that he's sitting there makes you think that maybe he just stayed there all night.
Yeah, and that he followed through the hair and just was waiting for the right moment to approach her. Psychology today, my ass. I followed you. Like the intensity. Oh, man. I love John Getz. I want a t-shirt with just his face on it. That's it.
Look it up on Redbubble, man. I'm sure it's on there somewhere.
Or someone put it up there. Just like an intense look of John Getz, like him pissed off about something. I want that. Needs to be on a t-shirt or a tank top. I got to have it. Oh, really? What? His cock? Just, oh, man.
Didn't even know what the fuck he was gonna do right there. You know, it's like, is he about to hit me or something? He just sort of like shoves the shit back at her.
Well, he's making a public scene here, so I wouldn't put anything past him.
What an asshole!
Gotta talk to me, yeah.
You know what? It kind of because I've gone back. We only got 3 episodes left of True Detective. Lots of parallels between Woody Harrelson's character and him, as far as like just being really fucking jealous.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's over.
And you still find them likable. Like him and McConaughey are such detestable characters, but they're both likable. Like you still like them both. And that's good writing. If you can make like Game of Thrones is another prime example of that. Some of the most despicable characters ever written. Then you're like, I like Jaime Lannister. How the hell do I like Jaime Lannister?
Yeah. But the frustrating thing about his character is like you start to hate him, and then he kind of redeems himself, and you like him again. But then he does something else that's terrible, and you're like, man,
like you're all over the place here.
You were so close, but Baboon made it just now.
Yeah,
so it's time to celebrate.
Just another good moment of them enjoying themselves and talking about going away. Like this just makes everything else that much more sad when everything goes to hell. Moments like this, taking time to really, and that's what works too, of having such a small catch. You don't have to worry about shoehorning this guy and getting this lady in. You just keeping the focus on these two. And I think that probably is what makes this work so well, is that you don't have any other distractions in the film in terms of like storytelling. Explain why this character serves a purpose when you've got 3 characters and that's it. And maybe that's probably.
I was gonna say, just Goldblum's hair in this movie.
He's got that, which he would have in a. I remember he plays one of the rapists in Death Wish.
Yeah,
and he's like, I hate rich cunts. That's the only line I remember from that movie, and he said it. Like, it's Jeff Goldblum. He plays one of the rapists. No way.
Gotta start somewhere, right?
Yeah. But I think Jurassic Park was the first time I actually saw him in as a kid, though, because I wouldn't see The Fly until 1990, the summer of '97, I think. Or maybe '96, like before 7th grade.
I would catch bits of it on TV, but it was one of those things where like I knew that it was like a sort of like a horror film, a horror film, and I was just like, oh, because I was scared to death.
Well, it was talked up so much by my dad's side of the family and my dad too. Like, it's such a gross, nasty film. And I remember seeing The Fly too at my papa's house, like on his coffee table, and looking at the box of it, and was just looking at the cover art of the little boy standing in front of the telepod, and just like we've discussed before, when you look at the horror movies when you're a little kid and wondering what's happening in this scene, what's happening there, and this film was built up so much to me as a kid. It's just something that's gross and scary. So when you hear that for years and you finally see it, like, wasn't hype. It was they were telling the truth.
Yeah.
And I saw this on Fox on a Saturday afternoon. So it was edited for TV, of course, but for something that was edited for TV, like, I got it. Like, if it's this good on edited Fox, I'm like, how good is it going to be on VHS?
Whole movie edits.
Yeah, sometimes they're funny stuff. If you watch like Mallrats or Casino on TV, it's even better than the actual cut of the film because of all the bad dubbing.
Well, this movie doesn't really have too much in terms of language. It's not
No, it's more of the
gore.
the gore and stuff like that. Which Cronenberg doesn't hold back from that kind of content, which makes me wonder what would Paul Verhoeven, his version of The Fly, look like.
Way more tongue in cheek, obviously.
Probably throwing a little bit of satire in some form or another. But then Basic Instinct doesn't have satire in it, and the gore in that is just, and the sex is there because that's what it would look like to be impaled by an ice pick, or what it looked like when you're going down with Sharon Stone.
Back to that again. You can't let that one go either.
What's that?
That's one of your.
I love Basic Instinct. I'm a proud fan of that film. It's a good film. It's just a really good film. I like Michael Douglas, I like Sharon Stone, and I love Paul Verhoeven. It's got it all. Got a great score too, Jerry Goldsmith. See, this is the thing we're talking about, where you feel like, okay, he's coming around, and then puts that cigar in his mouth. What about sex? You and me. Now that's a come on line.
God, what a dick! She should have just punched him in the face right here.
I'm sure in her mind it's probably like she's very patient with everybody, and I think that's a testament to her character. Like right here.
What about sex? I'm not saying for love or affection, just stress relieving sex. You and me, and then
he thinks he's going to do it again. Like, oh.
Yeah, but see, when she says that, she smiles at him, and that feeds into it of like, I think I got her. I
almost want to say maybe it's because, like Geena Davis, the actress, like just couldn't help but like smirk at his portrayal, and they left it in, or or is this something she just added to the character? Like she just smirks because, God, there's just no getting around this guy. Cute little baboon.
And here we go. Here's sort of his downfall. Kids, don't get drunk and do science experiments.
Yeah. And you don't feel like he's ridiculously drunk, like not a blithering idiot. He's just, it's affecting his mindset, but intensifying something.
Intensifying his urgency, and I like that we were already getting teased by the flies.
Yeah,
around
there's
the
one around here right now.
Yeah.
And he's slurping it down. He had it running down his chin there. Just makes it that much more unfortunate that it does handle the flesh, but you just can't have a single thing in there with you that's not you.
Now you've watched all the behind the scenes stuff, I'm imagining, like most of the special features on this thing. Are there any other behind the scenes things that you would like to sort of just divulge? Anything that would be kind of informative for the commentary? Because right now it's mostly just been opinions and us commenting on what we're seeing. But is there anything out there that's like interesting to you about the production of this film, or
the behind the scenes stuff? I bought it when the special edition DVD came out years ago. I really wanted to kind of get more about the conception of what they were going for, like possibilities, and I didn't get as much from it as I really would have hoped. Like they elaborate on the alternate endings, which I'm glad they didn't go with, because I thought, God, these are awful. Where they show the idea of like Geena Davis's baby in a dream, like is like in a cocoon and growing wings, like, and that would be the ending of the film. Like, this is nonsense. Like, thank God they didn't go with this. And they also had her waking up in bed with status and things like that. And I just that was one of the things I took away from behind the scenes, like that. Oh, I'm glad they didn't go that route. But other than like, it's been a while since I've watched the behind the scenes, but I remember being kind of disappointed that I really wanted to hear more about. I'm always more about pre-production, like what were their initial thoughts in the script, like where they were thinking about going with here, and then they decided to go this way, or ideas and thoughts that never came to fruition. I'm always fascinated by the what ifs when it comes to making films. Because they talk about the puppetry of working with the fly monster at the end of the film and things like that, and Jeff in the actual makeup working around in it, and
I wonder how long did that take to apply? Did
oh
they
god, I
say?
think it was several hours because Eric Stoltz had to do the same thing for the sequel. Because he's an elaborate makeup as well. But Jeff,
Eric Stoltz, he kind of got the shit end of the stick in
but
some
he
cases.
was good. Everything I've seen him in, he was really good, and I'm kind of surprised like he just never went any further.
Yeah.
Except Anaconda with Jennifer Lopez.
I haven't
He's
seen
out of that film for the most part too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in ages.
The snake stuff's kind of cool, but other than that, it's I just find myself making fun of it when I watch it. Like, God, like Jayla trying to be all serious and John Voight and his baby bird and Ice Cube, like, bitch, trying to work in the phrase. Got to say bitch. If Ice Cube's it, we got to say bitch, because that's cool and that's gangster, right? Bitch.
Yeah, he's gotten soft doing all those kid movies and shit. So.
Yeah, doesn't help him. I don't mind his music. His music's fine, but God, he needs to stay away from movies. But back to quality here.
A successful test, and we've seen that The Fly was indeed in there with him. So
yeah.
Here we are at about 38 minutes. This last hour, we're going to go for that ride of watching him feel great and then gradually transform.
And it's just fascinating to see how almost like he comes off, he might be becoming a superhero, kind of like Spider-Man. He wakes up the next day, he's extremely a lot stronger and agile. His sexual desire has just gone to the roof. I mean, he's become the ultimate male, And then you start seeing like small, like he's putting a lot of sugar in his coffee. He's eating candy bars, going crazy here. He can't stop having sex, which like naturally, like what woman would not want that?
I don't know. I see it like anybody else. I feel like once it goes on for so long, it's just like, all right, let's just stop and.
Well, that's your opinion.
And this already.
That's why I've always considered you to be like my own version of Larry David, like because he talks about having sex. You're like, in and out. That's enough. Like, yeah.
Well, whatever.
Like he says, hey, it gets boring after a while. And what you just said, that just makes me think what Larry David.
Well, I'm saying if it's going on for too long, then it's like, it's fine, but like too long is too long. I mean, we've seen those scratches that he got on his back. We're already starting to see.
Yeah, the transition is slowly happening, and I like that. We're not getting, of course, we're seeing like his quickness right now, but I we're not really told like how long a period this is. But I've always felt in watching this takes place over a few months.
Yeah, you said it was
overall. Yeah. Even when they're dating, like I like to think that when he makes the telepods work successfully, that took time, and we don't have time to show you everything. It's just kind of one of those things you just kind of had. Like he's wearing new clothing, so I took it as like she's went out and bought her new clothing for him to wear because she doesn't want to wear the same. She's trying to do something nice for him, get him to break out of his bubble. Like that was a touch that I've always noticed that like shows they've been dating a while, or that she's been spending time with him and doing nice things for him, and then going to bed with him too. And there's a little
side boob.
Yeah, which shows Geena Davis had quite a nice body back in the 80s with her big 80s hair.
I'm sure she's still looking pretty decent these days.
Last time I saw her too, yeah, she's aged very, very well.
And even Goldblum's aged fantastically. He doesn't even look like he's aged that much, honestly.
No, he could come back today and do like a remake of The Fly and still play Seth Brundle. I'd still buy it. Of course, today they play. We got to make him funny, we got to make him quirky and I'm a goofy artist,
He's pretty ripped in this film.
He's in fantastic shape. And that takes some strong shoulder and tricep strength to just lift yourself up off a chair like that, your entire body weight. I've been told Nathan did this to kind of get Emily's affections.
Yeah. Yep, totally.
He was just relaxing at backcountry and just decided, hey, look what I can do.
Yep, I just jumped on into my gymnastics routine.
Yeah. I
like how even he is sort of like taken back by it, just sort of bewildered. He's like, did
Yeah,
that
like,
really
what
just
else
happen?
can I do? Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what else can I do here? Like, it makes sense. Like, he's a sequence with no dialogue. He's just, let's see what I can, and it just flows naturally. Like, this is not done for laughs. Like in Naked Gun, like seeing Leslie Nielsen doing this, you clearly see like a stunt double wearing a white wig. This is done to, it's just all impulse and instinct. You know, because it's like Spider-Man. You're testing out like this new strength that you're like, holy crap! Like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah. God, I can't imagine the strength needed to be able to do what he just did there, like
Yeah.
being backwards and sort of just almost doing like some weird inverted push-up
Yeah.
in the air. I do like this part. I may have already. Yeah, I like the part here where he swings around and it's almost like he runs on the ceiling really
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a nice touch. And how strong your forearms have got to be to grip that bar. You don't let him slide off due to sweat and everything, but he just looks like, did you just see that?
There's something about her smile in this movie that
It's very sweet. It's very like, it makes you feel like, you know, you feel one like she's just like right there, like says,
yeah.
I
I
wasn't
wish
more as attracted to you now as I was. I'm like, she's like, take me now.
I wish Emily would look at me that way.
Well, I think you need to start, just doing some crazy shit around the house.
I just go and start like trying to do flips, knocking shit over.
Or like what we do is like we put a video of you getting ready to do this stuff, and then we hire like a really bad stunt double with like a bad Nathan wig, and just edit together, and then we just have you drop down, and just say he can do this now if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to, and just see if she just kind of, puts on a black beret and a pink jacket and wants you to take her. And this is another little sweet scene here too, because we don't get too many more here before we
the tone of the film is about to just shift entirely.
Yeah, the next scene in the coffee shop is when we start getting gradual signs of like, I've never been a cappuccino drinker or a coffee drinker in general, but those little frothy, they do look appetizing. Like they look like they'd be fun to drink, but I just don't like coffee. I've no desire to drink it.
I didn't like coffee for the longest time, and then I kind of came around to it.
I don't see you as a coffee drinker.
I do it on occasion. It's a good like booster, enough to like get you awake, get you going,
to make you feel like an adult, like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
I like how she's just that's pushing the story along. Like he's excited, but just that moment there, like the craving of sugar, these undertones and going right back to it again, and she just the look of concern on her face, like she's trying to pay attention, but just to see that she's, and then his,
Well, you can already see it in his mannerisms too. Like not only the sugar thing, but you can see just how he's talking. It's very like quick.
Sporadic. He just
yeah,
like
he's all over. He's all over the place. It's very twitchy.
Yeah. And that's
someone said a crazy thing I could do is play Peacekeepers again. That'd be very nice to play that craptastic game.
And tell me who that was so I can send them an angry letter.
Nope. I'm gonna leave them anonymous.
All right, well, give me the address for Mr. Anonymous there. I'll get it at FedEx tomorrow morning on my way to work.
But I did like that part, how he's just like, waitress.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And she all the sweater in the back. I mean, they've been going at it for a long time here.
Yeah, about a good 15 minutes.
That's according to like, what
I'm going to say this too.
Exchange rate with Nathan Kennedy's, concept of sex.
Yeah. You can already see in his face, like he's already starting to like get like just spot, and we'll see later on here too. Is just he goes to shave, and it's just like very sensitive,
and how tough the hairs are. Like it's just.
See, I can relate to that because I do get like kind of one or two hairs like here, like on my shoulder, on my back. I'm like, what is this?
I have to shave my back. It's not fun. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I shave it because I can't. Back hair clings to my clothes or my car seat when I'm wearing like my gym tank here. I don't. I can't. It just makes
I,
me feel
I
dirty
honestly
to have
didn't
back
think
hair.
that you really had like back hair or anything.
It's blonde back here, but it's just irritating. Like I just feel dirty having.
Is
having
it
back hair.
like, is it coarse?
If I never let it
Like
get
once
very
you
long.
shave it, like, you know, does it, how often do you shave your back? Now I got to know these things.
A couple times a week.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that sucking because you got to like reach. And...
Yeah, and I've gotten really good at to where you reach around, feel around, and I've gotten pretty good at. I may miss a spot here and there, but it's just,
hey, and
it's
for
not fun.
for the ladies, we get Goldblum and his. I guess you can't say tidy whities because they're not white; they're gray.
But they are a gray tidy white. They're great gray tidies. More sugar craving here.
Huh.
I just had a brilliant thought.
Yeah, and this is sort of like the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Right now, people, like we are. How long into this film? I don't have.
We are approximately 47 minutes into this film.
47 minutes in, and now we're up and running to what's become the downfall of Seth Brundle. Starting now.
She doesn't want to do it. He's like, "Oh, it'll make you feel great." And
you
here
don't
we
want
go.
Goldblum cussing you out in his underwear. Like his face, like it could almost pass for like, because she comes back the next day and he's gotten even worse.
Yeah.
So as of right there, you can see like maybe he's had like an explosion of, you know, maybe, I don't know, acne or something. It's done so softly, like you may not say much about it, or maybe he's had a rash breakout or something. It's hard to say. Now, and this could be interpreted different ways, and I'm sure that the writer, Cronenberg, and everybody behind the scenes has a certain purpose, but his anger right now, like when he explains how flies act, that they're brutal, they don't compromise. Do you see this as like he is just mad because she won't join him, or that this is the instinct of anger of a fly taking over?
Oh, no, for sure. It's the instinct of the fly taking over. It's, you know, at the beginning here, it can be passed off as such because we don't know exactly what's going to be happening. So,
I love this music playing when he's on the prowl. Like, I just think this is like one of those, if you saw this in theater, like, oh my God, like, he's out, he's loose. What's going to happen? This music's building and building, and we're going to a local tavern here.
He's gonna go to a bar, and he's not wearing a shirt still, by the way. It's just a jacket and no shirt. Have you ever really done any arm wrestling?
There's a big burly guy that I work with. That he for years he'd always wanted to like try to arm wrestle me, and when I finally did, I had trimmed down my size, so I lost some of my muscle.
Oh yeah,
and I overstrained my forearm, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just let him beat me, because if I do any harm, I'm gonna pop a muscle in my forearm, because I could feel it happening, because he's a big dude. He still talks about it to this day. He still wants to arm wrestle. He's like, you know what? Let's throw down right now. I've intensified my forearm exercises in the last year. So.
And see, even from leaving his place and going to this bar, his face looks worse.
Oh yeah, it looks terrible. I remember seeing this for the first time on TV, and it's one of the best scenes in the movie. Is this scene, to just see how dangerous he is now, and the look on his face, like he is so confident that he's going to beat this guy, and the music. Oh man.
It's almost like he wanted to yawn right there just now.
Yeah. It's so well shot and edited. Oh God, that acid secreting from his fingers, man. Oh geez.
I'm just waiting for it to happen.
God.
Oh yeah, that's nasty.
I just felt so bad for him. You just like, God, who are you scared out of your mind to see something like that done to you?
And I like the fact that we get another shot of it just like bleeding on the table.
Yeah, just for effect.
Wonder how long that would take to heal. Obviously, they'd probably have to like put a bolt or plate in there and keep
Oh
that
my
in
God,
place.
to get it back in place. I mean, I was like, you put me out, and I swear to God, if I wake up in the middle of that, he looks even worse right now.
Yeah.
It's just like his face is just—he's turning into like Punisher's arch enemy Jigsaw. There, like
I'm sure. I'm sure she's just like, oh, he's probably just in the myth or something.
Yeah, she's hanging out in a little small bar like that. She probably doesn't go home with like the most, right here. Look at him again.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like a supervillain here. Like,
Well, you definitely see it too in his eyes. It's like he hasn't slept in a little while.
Yep. And he's just single-minded right now. He wants sex.
What I want to know too is like last call. Most bars close at 2 a.m. Here we are. It's like daylight. Like, where the fuck were they going? She's all like drunk and shit, and he's gonna pick her up and carry her the rest of the way.
Yeah.
However many flights of stairs this is.
And then they're gonna go to breakfast when it's all done. So you kind of feel like this is maybe like 5, 6 in the morning, something like that. 7 in the morning.
Better hurry.
Yeah.
Once you get past 10:30, man.
I mean, you get rejected at McDonald's. I thought it was 11 o'clock. No, it's 10:30. Ah, horse shit. Tony's got a nice body on her here.
It's like, hey, you want to see some shit? And we're gonna go through this again. He comes out, and it's like, hey, your turn. What? No.
Yeah, and that's. Yeah, I mean, who would want to just try that, because it is a scary concept to think you're going to be broken down.
And now we're going to get some Goldblum ass.
Yeah. He's getting up in them guts here.
Oh, my God. Using the Jason Mewes
yeah.
line.
She's lucky. Yes. He's like, oh, I'm done.
Man.
Like the look of concern on his face, like, it's your turn. Like, it's almost like he was waiting for her. Like, look, I told you, I'm waiting for you to come around to this.
It's almost like I don't really know behaviors of flies or anything, but it almost seems like that just sort of insect mating kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's some nice underoos.
Yeah, she got quite a sexy outfit here.
Don't touch me.
And obviously, like, you might say, like, why didn't she notice the stuff on his back? But you know what? If she's not paying attention to his face or anything else, like, her standards are pretty low.
Yeah.
I think she just wants a guy to be nice to her. That kind of thing. Like,
And here's the tagline for the film.
Yep. What a great attempt at, like, oh, really? Your son's a great man. Which just, God, you just hate it for Ronnie. Just like she's doing. I mean, all this time she went out and she got thrown out or rejected, essentially. She gets thrown out here in a second. And went out to do all, and comes back to find that, 24 hours later, she finds him in bed with another woman. Like, already. You see all the hairs on his face just sticking out.
Yeah. It's how this looks, because I can't grow a full beard. These hairs just start poking out on my cheeks.
It's like, I've just brundled all over the place.
Yeah. But see, as she's doing the right thing. She took those hairs for testing. Like, she's trying to help him, and he doesn't want it until, like, it's too late. And even then, like, you still get this weird, like, back and forth of he's still there, but the instincts of the fly have taken over. It's just, I can't stress this enough. It's just a fantastic throwback to that era. I love the fact that this is like just a modern monster movie, but it's so good.
It's above anything that you would come to expect from a horror film, because you like these characters. Like, it's not just the generic, we want the women to succeed and beat Freddy or Jason. Like, no. You feel bad for both these characters. And that's That works too, and maybe that's something that Hollywood has completely ignored. That you don't have to have an ensemble cast to have a meaningful relationship in your film.
Hey, there's me again.
Yeah, typical. It was like, Emily, I don't need you anymore. Don't come back.
Just punching the wall.
Yep, throws her out. Don't come back without stir fry.
But
I always thought that was scary too, because you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
When he says "Don't come back," and the music, you're like, "Oh my god!" Like the horror's really happening here, people.
But here's the thing: like he's thrown her out, but here shortly, we get another wrench thrown into this. The plot thickens. You know, she's trying to deal with this. He's dealing with this changing, but turns out during one of their sexual escapades, she's pregnant with this kid. And then this brings up a whole new set of questions, which when we get to that part, I think that'll probably open up a dialogue of discussion that, well, I might be kind of uncomfortable for some of our listeners. But I mean, this movie was ballsy enough to kind of like bring it up and talk about it. And I feel like when we get there, we should as well.
I mean, what Nathan's trying to say is use condoms.
Yeah, I mean, that's a smart thing.
Yeah. And that's another Nathan reaction right there.
Practice safe sex, or I would say abstinence, but I mean, come on.
Abstinence? Are you out of your mind?
It's human nature. I see. I didn't even notice that he had one like sticking out from his nose.
And that's thanks to like Blu-ray, because when I was watching this, because on DVD you see certain things, but VHS you see even less. And
yeah,
to see.
See, I don't have I don't own this on Blu-ray. I just
it looks absolutely wonderful on Blu-ray. Worth every penny.
I have the 2-pack of the Flying Fly 2, but then you know I also have the collector's edition. Yeah. Special. Yeah, it's got the slip cover. It was a bitch to get off of there though. That thing was like on there tight, and it's tight. Like it's very. I was like, I might not even get the movie out of here. But this is gross. This is fucking nasty. Because to me, anything with fingernails or toenails is automatic for me to like kind of just
painful.
Yeah, just kind of wince a little bit. And it just peels right off. So wonderful effects.
To seeing this with an audience in '86, to hear people squealing in the audience, like, God, that'd have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And my dad and it's always been talking about. You ask my parents about this film, they both say, "Oh God, it's gross." And my dad still to this day he gets so put out if I mention The Fly, but they all liked it. They just said it was gross, like just because it was gross, which to me, you guys have just lost touch with reality.
Well, I did read a thing that Goldblum had written Vincent Price a letter. It's like, hey, I really enjoyed your original. I hope you like mine as well. And Vincent Price had said that he liked it, but once at a certain point it was too much, and I guess maybe that's kind of in the same as like it was too gross for him, maybe.
And look, I understand people's initial thoughts on this, but I still believe that it's there for a reason. It's
Sorry, that's also a nice touch. We had the fingernail thing. Now he's wearing gloves.
Yeah,
while he's typing.
I wonder if it hurts. Like he peeled it.
It
off,
had to. It had to have. There's no way that it wouldn't have. And here we get the scene that he finally finds out what exactly happened to him.
Which, even though it was honest, we already know what's happened, but you still feel bad for him.
And I'm going to say this too: in most movies, especially movies in the '80s, when computers are involved, looking back on it, kind of dates. But I don't really get that vibe with this. This has enough of a futuristic kind of vibe to it that I could just be all right, yeah. But then again, that kind of shit never really bothered me much anyway. Like
I don't look at that because I mean that was computers back then, and I'm not a computer junkie either. Like they're computers, especially nowadays, were there to serve a purpose. Like Weird Science, they create a woman using computers. Like you just have to assume that computers could do everything back then.
Yeah, but honestly, they couldn't really do that much. Not personal home computers anyway.
No. But all this, and plus too, and they would even do it in like the old school B movie horror movies of the 50s and the 40s too, where you throw science in there, the general public is not going to know what's real and what's not. Not to say that it gives you the right to come up with just anything you want and just throw it up there and say, they're just stupid, but it comes off as intelligent in this movie. Everything does. I've always been scared of science, just because of like it's some of it's interesting, and other times I'm like, I don't care about igneous rocks and stuff like that. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. But science is also very scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
I'd like to think at this point we're seeing Ronnie kind of working probably on another project here, another article.
Yeah, that another like 2 weeks has passed.
Yeah, some time has passed and stress. And
But this phone call, it's like you gotta, I need you here.
Yeah. And no, until she says, like, I tried to call, and it's a testament to her character. Like, even though she found him in bed,
the last 4 weeks, so now we know. There you go. 4 weeks have passed.
Which, that's a lot, and it works. It works to help, give you an idea of just, that this is not, because some movies, they don't do a very good job of explaining that, some films take place over a period of time and they don't really tell you how much time has passed, and people are thinking, well, should just happen the next day. I'm like, no, jackass, you have to, it's just one of those things. They don't have time to explain everything. I
like those approaches. It makes you think for yourself.
Yeah, I don't like to think that everything has to be explained to the audience, which I feel like in today's movies, that's what they do.
Yeah, we get that for the most part. I keep bending my neck like this, and it's just like my collarbone, I can feel it just like cracking. But yeah,
I was gonna say, you probably need a good spine popping.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and just continually, like
using 2 canes to get around because he just can't hold himself up, just completely deteriorating. He looks so like Jello-like, the way he's carrying himself. He looks like he's really mimicking being really weak.
Ugh.
All the spit up all over his clothes looks fresh.
Yeah, his face looks like a Nestle Crunch, like the back of a Nestle Crunch bar.
Yeah, that's a great description. Ah. And I like that, even though he's facing something that you stop and actually legitimately think about this, put yourself in, because everyone says, it's a movie, whatever, but you put yourself in this position here, how scary it would be. And he still tries to find, and I guess that's him being the scientist that he is. He tries to find a little bit of lightheartedness in this. I've turned myself into an actual science experiment. We haven't been properly introduced, and still has a,
yeah, you guys honestly just sort of like shrugged at the same time.
Yeah. I wasn't intentional. I was just.
He's a Brundlefly.
Yeah.
I like how he's like, I could be contagious, and that part he's like, you look so pretty.
And I like that though, because
it shows that he knows that he's kind of fucked, really. Like.
But as a man who hasn't seen her in a while, and he cares about her so much, he says, you look so pretty. Like he's, I can relate to that kind of statement. You just, in the worst of times, you're looking at a woman and you want to compliment on how attractive she is. No. Yeah, I do. I would love to know which of these scenes coming up, like this one where he's getting the donut here, like, how many people started dry heaving in the theater?
Oh yeah. Well, most people don't realize that when a fly is like landed, especially when they're going to eat, they throw up on their food, and I feel like she didn't know that was coming either, because that looked like just a genuine reaction.
Yeah. Which I like how they do that to get, and there you go.
His ear fell off? Yeah, it's pretty old.
Yeah, it's pretty old. I think I remember like watching this with my dad. He like, when she hugs him, goes, "Oh God!" I'm like,
yeah,
Dad, you don't get it, dude.
I mean, I get it. She cares about him that much. It doesn't matter like how gross he is right now, but still, you think of that, it's like, yeah, that is kind of nasty.
It is.
I hope she went home and took like 7 showers.
Yeah, like boiling hot, like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura.
Why don't you just come back to me?
Yeah.
Fucking
like,
prick.
will this be a good time to?
Did
How about
you even
have
see it in
some
his
stress relief
face?
sex?
He's like, I don't believe that. He's like, his eyes are rolling at the same time as he's getting up to. Good God.
It's like, don't
Exactly. I don't care what you want.
I want some stress relieving sex right now. You and me. Might take your mind off things.
I feel like right there, that look on his face is like, all right, he's gonna die. I'm back in the picture.
Yeah. Well, I think too when you see this as like the aggressive, jealous ex-boyfriend, like his comeuppance is coming in some form or another. Because I mean that's kind of what happens, but you don't find him that kind of character redeemable as he is in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe some people who watch this film, well, they think it's great. Like they may find it gross and off-putting what happens to him, but they feel like, yeah, he gets what he deserves. But otherwise, Gina Davis would have been killed too. You know, and he's trying to do the right thing. Like I don't at this point too. Like even says, I'll come up with something. Like you can almost take it like he's trying to like I could put this guy out of the picture and get Ronnie back for sure.
Or he'll find a way to make this totally benefit him and no one else.
Make an article in Particle Magazine. We could put this guy, you know, and you know, do a whole big piece on him in the magazine or something like that. But when he finds out that she's pregnant, that's when I feel like he makes the turn of like, I can't be a sleaze anymore. Like I got to do the right thing here. Now, when I revisited this film this week, I immediately thought like this is how they would have done a live action Spider-Man film with the rotating room to have the actor playing Spider-Man walking all over the yeah.
I always like that special effect a lot.
I did too. It's so simple and God, it works. What's this? I don't know. Jeff Goldblum's delivery of that is so funny. That's like how he talks with his teeth.
Yeah, because his teeth are about to fall out.
Yeah.
He even says, he's like, yeah, there's no real use for these anymore.
Or had to worry about contagion. Oh no. Why can't you? I just like how he talks.
Yeah, it's like no. Let's film this. Now, I like the part when he's watching the tape back and he's just like,
God.
all right, kids. It's
like he just at this point he realized this is great. We could do something. This is the world needs to know about this, and how he just talks like he's doing a kids show. I make a fabulous children's book.
I'm coming. 185 pound fly.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of, that's a children's book I would love to see. Someone I did like a mock children's book of Grundle Fly. How awesome!
That would be like a cool little novelty thing to have.
Yeah, I show it to my nephew Brian. It'd be awesome.
Well, I kind of wonder where he got the food. Like, did he actually go out and buy it, or is this shit that he's just like digging out of a dumpster? Is he going all Amato on us?
He maybe King Coupon's wandering around too, and you know, doesn't ask questions. He just takes.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, he's just really into meth.
Yeah. Kind of wondered, like, did he ever run into like a really grungy Jeff Goldblum in the back alleys of parts unknown Ohio?
Right. Here we go.
Yeah. With a corrosive enzyme. I just love hearing him talk.
The vomit drop.
Sucks it back up. The mannerisms.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even see it, you just hear it. Oh my God.
Like we don't have, even though we've seen it once, it just sounds like he let him sell it. Like we could have like not even shown us him vomiting on the donuts earlier and let John's reaction sell that, and then we see it at the end when it actually happens to him.
Right.
Yeah, this is the turning point for Stathis here. Like you kind of feel like.
Well, at first he thinks she's just upset about him turning, but
and he definitely sounds legitimately concerned, like not trying to make a pass at her or take advantage of the situation. Like he shows genuine concern, like. Well, because at this point too, she's pregnant with somebody else's baby. Like,
well, no, that one right there where he's like, "Oh no," but kind of like smile because I guess part of him thinks that it could be his, but then he starts putting two and two together. And he's like, "Oh wait, oh no." So we've we've reached this point of the movie. She wants to have an abortion. So that's a very hot button issue. It always has been. And
Yep.
for, like I said before, for them to add this element to the film, I feel like it doesn't detract at all. If anything, it makes it the stakes of everything going on here that much more impactful, really. Because you got to think about those situations. Like in her situation, she's thinking this probably this probably happened after he went through there, you know. So what's that gonna do to her body? And that I don't know. Fuck it. Let's just bring it up. What is your stance on abortion? And before we really get into this, I want to specify to everybody out there, like, this is real life. Things just happen. So we'll talk about it, because I don't want to shy away from topics like that. So what's your opinions on abortion?
I mean, in terms of like this or rape, I mean, I feel like abortion is not an atrocity. If a woman is raped or something like this, as long as it's not used as like a form of birth control, like a girl that just constantly sleeping around, getting pregnant all the time, well, let's go down to the abortion clinic. No, that's where it's wrong.
Yeah.
But I've always felt that if a woman is raped, you know, by a couple of guys, like Freddy Krueger's mom is a prime example. A woman has been raped by 100 maniacs. That woman had every right to have an abortion.
Oh, and before we go any more into this, I love this scene, though.
Good God, man.
Yeah. It's gross.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And this scene is the
reason
reason Gina Davis did not come back for the sequel.
Really?
She said she would gladly come back to reprise her role, but she could not do a birth scene again.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But hey, look, it was only a dream.
Yeah. But still, like, as an actress, I've like, imagine all sequences that are a little bit more private and intimate are hard to do in front of a camera crew.
Yeah.
You know, even though that's Cronenberg helping her push the maggot out of her belly.
Yeah.
But still, it's one of those things to do a sex scene or to do a birth scene or a death scene. You know, I imagine it's you know, you really got to be in the right state of mind, you know, as an actor to really sell giving birth or being afraid or dying, like Sean Bean has crafted so well.
Yeah. No, man. Now he's looking rough. But my stance on abortion, it's very similar to yours. I don't think it should be a form of birth control for someone. That's like you either like need to find, like, condoms are good, birth control is good, but at the same time,
get a vasectomy.
Or tell him to. The other part of it is, it's just, I feel like it's a person to person basis. Now there could be other times too where someone could be pregnant and like your blood type's weird and it's eating away at the fetus, and like it's not gonna make it, kind of thing. And then that sort of leaves you with the option of maybe it is best now, so there's not like any complication later. But it's any other way around it, like if you're just using it as a way of birth control, I got pregnant, time to terminate. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, well, that's why sex is for adults. That's why it's, you know, unfortunately, when we're teenagers, we crave sex all the time. And you feel like you're denied it all the time, but it's unfortunate. But there's a reason behind it, because you're not adult enough to deal with the dangers of sex and also enjoy the pleasures of it. Yeah. And this scene coming up is by far my favorite bit of.
Well, I mean, I like the fact that he's just taking his pieces and putting them there in the cabinet.
Yeah, yes, you are. And don't deny it. It's just this is classic movie monster here, like hunched over, the constant twitching.
Yeah.
And
the way that shot was structured, like having it to where he's at the back of the frame, but you got all the trash and the wrappers and everything right there. That was a good looking shot.
It's definitely plays up they're in the same apartment, but they're a distance apart. Like, because he steps out here in a moment and she steps back a bit, like she's afraid to come near him.
Yeah.
And this is where you feel so bad, like this here, where she's trying to tell him, and like the lighting on him right now, it makes it so tragic. Like he's, I could see why they turned it into a Broadway play, aside from all the singing and nonsense. But it's this music that's playing under the scene here by Howard Shore's like just tragic score right now. He goes into insect politics, and I think the saddest, her crying right now, like she just can't say it. Like when she says, "I just wanted to see you," like that's really sad.
Yeah.
And you're like you care about someone so much where it's such an awful situation, but you just want to see them. And insect politics, like a nice gradual, soft way of bringing up that I'll kill you if you stay around because the fly's taking over here. That he's starting to realize he's losing control of his as a man. Like humanity's slowly slipping away.
Yeah. Just I can't imagine how long that took to sit and get that makeup put on,
Yeah, and then to not only that, but to practice moving in the suit, the jerking, the moving around, to talk with the fake teeth in there to show that he's losing his teeth, and like that, like just that quick little nudge of pain, and she's he steps into frame, looks up at the moonlight,
and she steps back. Yeah. That's like classic monster movie shit right there.
And this here, the insect who dreamed he was a man and loved it. God, it's beautiful writing. The best bit of dialogue in the film is this right here, is him talking to her about being an insect and dreamed he was a man. It's so sad, but God, it's so good. I'll hurt you if you stay. That's
no, it's and then there goes the music again.
Yeah. See, son of a bitch, why can't we get stuff like this in movies now? Why can't we get emotionally involved in these films today? No. This right here, like him crying, like realizing, and then just the no that he. God, it's just so sad. I want a figure of Jeff Goldblum like this.
Come on, NECA. Make it happen.
Do it. Yeah, and this is more screen time to make John Getz a redeemable villain. Like to say, like I don't think we should rush into this. Like this shows you how logically he's thinking now.
Yeah.
Because even though he may be a slime, but he realizes like abortions that's not something that you may actually want to have this. Like he's actually thinking about her child by another man. Like that doesn't make him redeemable at this point, then you know what
But same time, she's like she doesn't want to because she doesn't know. Like it could be just as we get to here when they have the discussion, it could be deformed. Like the DNA of basically a man fly. Like what does that do to you? It could be like her dream. It might not be that way. It might look like that.
Yeah. And as we see in the sequel, that he is born normal, but has the genetic coding that when he goes through the telepod for the first time, that kind of triggers the transformation. I believe it's been years since I've watched the sequel.
I've never watched it.
There's a segment, and you and I are both dog lovers, that's not going to sit well with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes up, I'm just it's like I had forgotten about that scene. I'm like, oh God.
The other thing that I like about this is it's not brought up to anybody else that like, hey, he's turning into a fly. It's just between the two of them, and that's it. It doesn't have to be public knowledge.
No. And that they're doing this in the middle of the night. They're doing this out of urgency, and I don't recall or ever doing research on this film, as I do over stuff for many films over the years. Like you don't hear, I've never heard of this film being attacked for its subject matter of abortion. It's not focused on.
Yeah.
However, people when they bring, Seinfeld did an episode where they joke where Elaine is fixated on abortion, but I'm saying it's a topic that people just seem like they're incapable of just handling it like adults.
Yeah.
It's not saying pro-choice or or against abortion. It's just part of the story. So I'm glad to know that if people came out and attacked this film in any shape or form about this, which I don't think they did. I feel like in today's world, people would just they would just relish the idea. Oh, we get to attack a film because they talk about abortion. Isn't this great?
Yeah, probably.
Get on Twitter.
Yeah, not wrong. And this is a scary, bam, out of nowhere. He busts through.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, as we get into this line of dialogue, you understand his line of thinking as well. He's like, this might be the last part of me that's left. I feel like you should keep it. Which
makes
it brings up a lot of debate and question in it. It's like he's got a point. She's also got a point.
And I mean, if I was the third party standing with these two, I'd feel absolutely horrible for both of them.
Yeah.
But I'm more inclined to side with Gene on this.
I am as well. But I understand his viewpoint. He's that might be the only human part of him that's
that
go on.
Because you look from to further the story, to think that that's the only thing she'll have left of him is their son. That's a big thing to give up. A man someone that you fall in love with, or a man in her situation, that you're going to give up the last remaining piece of him. Yeah, it makes it the stakes are so much more higher than a lot of horror movies would have it have established. And and watching this too, I mean, my viewpoints, have changed a little bit in terms of what you think of the characters. Even though Stathis is here to kill him, or possibly kill him, you feel like he's in the right because he just saw Ronnie kidnapped and taken off when she wanted to have an abortion.
Right.
So you feel like his purpose in being here doesn't feel like he's being a malicious villain. Now it's time for the bad guy. It's no, there's more depth to what he's doing right now.
Well, one, he's just trying to find her, and he just assumed that they probably went back to his place.
Yeah. And just got a quick glimpse of what he looks like now, and that he's capable of just shattering through.
Yeah, and at this point in his mind, it's all right, this probably needs to be destroyed.
Yeah.
It's gone too far.
Yeah. So I side with his approach here. I mean, because even as an audience member, it's at this point, I think they're not going to come up with a way. It's we'll turn it back to Seth Brundle. That's not happening at this point. And I'm glad that they didn't go that way. They do that. Well, I won't say anything else, but I think it's good that it ends the way that it does. That he does not come back.
It shouldn't have to, really.
No.
And I like now how there is the third telepod.
Yeah.
Introduced, which I want to say that is that first one, right?
Mm-hmm,
that he
had
built.
Yeah,
and now it's all mixed together, and the plan has been revealed. He wants to basically merge everybody together,
which he's just out of his mind at this point, just so desperate for any attempt to. And here we go, people. The big vomit drop that we have talked about here. Oh God.
Oh man.
I'm just I just want to hug John Getz at this point, dude. This is awful. And the look of joy on Jeff Goldblum, he's enjoying doing this. That's a scary part too. The manner is ooh, look what it's doing to your hand. God, that's malicious.
I mean,
man.
I guess the good thing, if there is a good thing out of all of this, is it's not going to bleed as much, because that'll burn up pretty quick,
Oh, this is worse though. To do this is more.
It's one thing. It's one thing to get that on your hand, but to get it on your ankle, and then he's just going to tear your foot away from your leg.
God, man, just awful. Oh
man.
the look, he's like, oh man, look at that. Look
Yeah,
at this
he
done.
looks
Like,
so happy about it
yeah.
too.
And I'm sure, like, you're like, oh my god, he's gonna do it to his face too.
Yeah, that's yep.
Oh,
But she stops him.
yeah, thank God. It's like we or with Seth Rogen all the way, but that's one thing. Like, dude, don't do it, man. Don't do that.
And then we get more of the tilting room.
Yeah,
I've always loved that.
it's such a.
That's
cool
what makes
effect.
that scene in Nightmare on Elm Street that much more effective.
Oh God,
You
yeah.
know?
That, and to know they use that, and I think is it dancing, singing in the rain? Like Fred Astaire does it, like when he's dancing all over the. I think that was like the same kind of like effect that was used in that.
Yeah, it was one of those films.
Yeah.
It wasn't
And
Singing
they
in
also
the Rain.
did in Breakin' 2, or the first Breakin' film, I think.
Yeah.
Not Breakin' 2, but I'm saying Breakin' T-O-O, not Breakin' like 2 Electric Boogaloo. You know, one of Joe's favorite films.
And here's the ultimate plan. I go here, you go there, and then we fuse together in this third one.
God, he just. I mean, I'm not even curious as to know what. I mean, because I know they would both die. Like they wouldn't come out. I don't even think. I mean, obviously I think neither one of them would be aware of what they were. If they were somehow to survive this experiment, they would just be meat with eyes. Essentially, like I just don't think they would be. I don't know what they would be. I just don't think they would survive it, to be honest. I mean, maybe if a fly, I don't know, 2 human beings. Oh man, here we go.
Oh yeah, this is.
And I love the effect of we got to show that lower lip flicking.
Yep.
Those nerves.
Yep.
I could see why Vincent Price was put off by all this. Yeah, this is pretty graphic.
Yeah.
It feels like getting a stuffed crust pizza, Meat Lover's Pizza right now.
Yeah, we'll probably eat pizza later today. Actually,
yeah.
Not from Pizza Hut, though. Pizza Hut's terrible. But this like breaking through it. This is beautiful. Like so well done. The thought put into that, making it happen. It looks
all
fantastic.
A puppet. Every bit of it's just a puppet too, man. Just proper editing, proper camera work. You can make anything look real. And I like every bit of
just put some pillows in there, man. That'd be actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it would.
Shit, man, you should just find a way to like build your own and put it in your place.
God, that would be awesome.
Like bring girls over and just be like, this is my experiment. See, that looks fantastic.
I like the flicking of his mandibles there. Like I remember, like the McFarlane figure has like that little fuzz at the end of his.
You know, I think I do have that figure, so I think I.
Did you get it from my brother?
No. I found this one at a flea market. I need to actually, because he's not on display on the horror shelf. I need to dig him out and put him up.
Yeah, I remember buying him at Toys R Us when he was brand new, along with both the Blair monster and the Norris monster from The Thing, and Snake Plissken too. I think my dad like just went all out and bought me and my brother like all the new ones from that, because I could not wait to get my hands on Ash, the Fly, and both the Thing monsters. That was a great year for movie maniacs, man. Arguably the best.
And there we go. The arc is complete. He's fully redeemed himself. He saved her and broken up the telepod. And Brundle doesn't like that too much.
Nope. He'd have killed him regardless, because now he's just there's nothing he can do about it right now. Like I like that sound effect of him stepping out. Oh boy. And took some of the telepod with him.
Yeah.
And this music here. This is a hero/tragic theme here. Or heroic/tragic. You know, it's just selling that. God, looking at his like other leg there, how separate it is.
Yeah.
And he's got all this in the sequel. He's missing a hand. He's missing a foot. So they kept up with continuity. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about the sequel.
Yeah, I need to give that a watch.
God, I love this score.
Yeah.
So good.
Even this is classic. We focus in on that the slow reveal again, the knob
Yeah,
turning,
like, what do we
the
get
pod
now?
open.
Like,
Yeah,
and now you just like feel so bad. Like, you just constantly, like, you never feel like you can truly distrust. I mean, for a split second, you feel like, okay, we're in trouble. Oh, like, oh no, man, I just want to give him a hug. And the look on Gina's face, man, God, she's selling the terror and sadness at the same time here. And people say, "What? Pull the trigger!" Like, you don't get it, people. I'm sorry. If I was to see anybody I cared about
and
in this shape,
there we go. The reveal that he fused with the
yeah,
pod. And I no, this coming up right here. You know, she doesn't want to do it,
because she knows that this is him. Like,
and the fact, but it's beautiful right here.
yeah,
It looks at the gun, picks it up, just puts it to his head, like, you know.
yeah,
And the
like
wheezing and everything too.
that humanity is just lingering around long enough to, like, look, do it. And that music just playing up the tragedy of this, because you know it's coming. See, just proper camera work makes that puppet as believable as E.T. Oh,
Then we get a nice little head explosion.
yeah.
And the beautiful thing about this here, there's no follow up.
No.
This is it. This is it right here.
I mean,
we end with what else can where do you go from there? But it fades right here and then credits.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do anything else. You ended on that.
It's kind of like American Werewolf from London, where it ends abruptly, but that it ends abruptly, kind of almost in a comical way.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it ends in a very tragic way, because you do feel like you couldn't have done anything else. You know, I wouldn't want to see, like, even the cast for this is so small. Like, you just look at the cast credits there.
Yeah.
Like, the doubles are part of the cast there.
Your favorite blockhead brings this up, and I'm surprised that we didn't do this during the things. Like, we should have done that. He's got to puke.
Oh yeah,
we didn't do that. Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, it just shows, like, we focus on quality on this here too. And I guess we do commentaries like this, we're not going to veer off and try to be silly and goofy that much. But yeah, that would have worked pretty good. I'm sure if Nathan shows this to his girlfriend, he might have to work in family. He's gonna puke.
Yeah, we meant to watch it last night, actually, but I did the streams. We watched a couple of the hockey games, and then we just fell asleep. So I watched it like early this morning. I woke up.
All this is really fresh in your head.
Yeah. I woke up. God, it was like early this morning, and went and laid in bed and put it on. And this is a testament to this film. You know, I could have just laid there in bed while it played and just dozed off, but I was awake through the entire thing, intrigued. Because we stated, I haven't watched this in a long time, actually. Probably when I picked this up. So gosh, this was what, 2004?
I was still living in Blacksburg in Arbor Apartments with my dad.
All right, so we're it was probably like 2003, 2004, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
I don't know. So it has been a hot minute, but I guess I kind of feel like I know where we're going with this, but star rating, I'm pretty sure I know what both of us are giving this film.
Oh, it deserves above and beyond a 5-star rating.
Yeah. But
I mean, it's a 5-star without a doubt. We're not going to do a whole lot of films that deserve less than that, because I mean, the films we do on this podcast, we're creating awareness but celebrating from our own perspective. You know, why these films are continuously being merchandised or brought up again or referenced in bad TV shows and stuff like that. You know, it's everyone, there's tons of opinions out there on the films that we do, but hopefully that we bring a little something extra that others have not done.
Well, I was gonna give thanks to Febmon, your favorite blockhead, Wiley Walt, Iceman Traveler, and I think there were a couple other people that were kind of poking around but didn't jump in the chat. But there was a lot of discussion, and Febmon did say Nathan was "I love you, man" drunk at the end of the stream last night. Yep, I was. said I got old Dr. Phil there at the end as well. I need to go back and rewatch that and see what all I said. I know it wasn't anything bad or anything. It
seemed you can remember.
Yeah, it seemed kind of positive and uplifting, but I hopefully that wasn't like too embarrassing or anything like that.
I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure you would have heard about it by now.
Yeah, 5 stars all around. For like this movie is fantastic. I need to get, all I can hear is like the fly buzzing in the menu.
Yeah, I'm glad we that Nathan agreed to do this commentary, because I was like, the minute we said we were going to discuss it, we were just going to do that, and then he hit me up with a comment, which I'd actually thought about myself, but.
Well, I feel like that's what we'll usually try to do in the event that Joe can't make it, or we decide to just if it's you and I doing. I honestly I kind of prefer in a way when we do
commentary.
To do the commentary, because it gives us a chance to watch the film together and also maybe bring up stuff or talk about things that you and I haven't really discussed when we've brought up the movie, just talking in the past about it. So
it's easy to miss stuff too. If we just do like a general discussion about a film, it's easy to forget important plot points or important landmarks in the film. But when you're watching it, you're reminded about a lot of it. So we've already agreed to the next commentary we do will be John Wick, the first one.
Yeah.
Have that.
And maybe there will be some weeks where instead we forego capes and commentaries, and instead on a Saturday we'll do a feature movie commentary or something. You know,
and we could always do that, because we can always throw in capes and commentaries. It's flexible, of course. Just a 22-minute episode. Well, an hour for a 22-minute episode. But yeah, we could always do that. I mean, we could always do John Wick sooner, and then also do another. Could always do Anaconda.
I would have to go buy that movie.
I am not encouraging doing it.
I think that would be funny. That would be fun, actually, to maybe do a commentary on a movie that's like, it's not a 5-star like The Fly or Ninja Turtles or something, but it's something that while we can have fun while we do it.
Yeah, I mean, because the snake attacks in it are fun. They do look good. And it's fun to watch Owen Wilson be devoured alive, because that's the best thing he's ever done on film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll hang on. I've got to use the bathroom real quick, otherwise I'm gonna bust. So
I'll keep talking.
All right.
I guess I can go ahead and kind of get some of the closing stuff out of the way. Thank you guys for popping in and joining it. Big thanks to Blockhead and Fedmon for keeping the chat going. Appreciate you guys showing up, and I hope you guys and just enjoy the commentaries. I hope it's a different beast than just doing like the regular podcast and we're just like talking and back and forth. But I enjoy the commentaries. It's cool to watch these movies with Tyler, and as I said before, bring up stuff that him and I haven't talked about when we've brought up the film before. Because Tyler and I growing up, like we would talk about movies, especially if we didn't watch them together, or if a new movie came out, we both went to the theaters, but we didn't go together. Then opens up that dialogue of, this is what I like, this is what I like. But for us to both sit here and watch the movie and have you guys follow along, it's fun. Piss before and after the show, yeah. But I've ran into plenty of times where we get ready to do, and it's happened on capes and commentaries before, where I'm like, I gotta go take a shit, and it's one of those things. I'm like, I can't hold this. I gotta go. Yeah, it's kind of tough to do alone when it's not just me playing video games. A lot of data there too. I guess I'll say, those of you that are new to this channel, I hope that you enjoyed this commentary. I hope you go back and check out all the other videos like this one. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on The Fly and its sequel if you guys have checked that out, because I haven't watched it. I hate to admit that, but I think now I'm going to get around to watching that sequel. And Tyler's coming back. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just telling the people at home, they catch this, go back, watch the other videos, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts on The Fly. Man, just some gruesome stuff in there, but just a classic. I dare say masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece.
It is.
I would say that in front of anybody. Nobody could argue against this film. Nobody could.
Yeah, it just a wonderful, I guess you could say homage to those lost like monster movies,
It
those
is,
science
but
fiction monster-esque horror films. Good
but also
throwback.
stands on its own two feet.
Oh
It's
yeah, of
something
course,
completely
of
separate
course.
too.
Yeah.
It has a lot to offer. I mean, it's got romance, it's got horror, it's got action, it's got science. I mean, it's a film that kind of please a lot of audiences from various types. But yeah, as long as you can get through the gore,
Which I mean, it's there, but it's not there for too long. You know,
No,
it's there at the tail end, and yeah. Any more? Yeah. Well, yep. Any more?
Yeah, we're gonna jump in Jeff Farmer on you here.
Yeah. Any more final thoughts on the fly, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
I just encourage people to, if you haven't watched in a while, you really owe it to yourself to sit down and watch it, or show it to somebody who's never seen it before.
Yeah.
It's just something that that's what we want to do. We want to keep people aware. If you're tired of going to see crap at the movies, you don't have a reason to go. Well, you know what? There's plenty of reasons to still watch a movie. Just go to your DVD shelf, your Blu-ray shelf.
Go to your local video store. Oh wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or
I mean, there's still video stores in some
there's
places.
still some lingering around there, but track it down, buy it on Amazon. It's not something, if you've never seen it, which I can't imagine anybody listening to this is, downloading it or watching it is not seeing The Fly. But
if you haven't, if you haven't and you watched, sorry that we spoiled everything.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know why
you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, but buy it. It's not. It's definitely something that you could blind buy and you'd be like, man, that was so great. Why didn't I listen to those guys before? I just need to listen to those guys all the time. But not Joe though. Joe will have you buying.
That one guy in the tank tops is a jackass.
I know. He thinks he knows everything about movies and stuff like that, and he's got all these like posters. Like, well, we're supposed to think you know a lot about movies because you got Arnold posters. What a dork! Arnold can't act right. He knocked up that maid.
Yeah. Which that kid looks just like him. Spitting image, man.
Yeah. But what actor, actress, or politician or anybody or athlete has not had infidelities?
True.
There you go. See, people shut the hell up.
We all can't be Larry Bird.
Yeah. Or Sean Kemp.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Or Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah. Well, on that note, you're still thinking about basketball players having a bunch of illegitimate kids.
You brought it up first.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys again in the chat. As I said before, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell. We're getting really close to 100. Open up a lot of new prospects, things we can do for the channel. Check out all the links down below. Buy Joe's t-shirts. Hit him up for a custom. Download us on Podbean or iTunes. Take us on your favorite device, whether that be an iPod or do people? I know you still use an iPod when you go to the gym, but
I mean, I use my phones too.
You use your phone too? Yeah, I feel like that there's sort of been that shift of like people just use their phones now.
I think it's pretty much. I mean, I still have like old iPods because it's got old music on them. But if you're looking for some reason to kill time when you're on a drive, we got commentaries for Roadhouse, Turtles 1 and 2, Now The Fly. We got our commentaries for various cartoons, Batman '89. You need some time, village, some fun listening. Buddies talking movies. Take us on the road. Listen to our Fly commentary, Roadhouse. We have a lot to offer in terms of content, more than I think some people may have to offer. They may get more views, which I don't know why. We haven't cracked the code yet on why we haven't broken through the grass ceiling.
We'll get there one day. The grass ceiling. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Mick
Foley botching a promo.
Yeah. God. Oh, Botchamania. I don't think we've ever gone like one of these commentary tracks without bringing that up.
I know, like, as much as Joe loves wrestling, we're like, what's a Botchamania?
Joe. No. Oh, I did show him the Jumpin' Jeff Farmer promo. He's like, he was like, that's hilarious. He just seemed so lost and timid and confused. It's good stuff.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. You don't know what we're talking about when we say Jumpin' Jeff Farmer. Just
look up. Yeah, just type Jumpin' Jeff Farmer promo or something.
That's it, and it'll pop right up.
Jumpin' Jeff Farmer.
Now we'll go to the ring. It's like what match you have with Motley. Yep. It's pure gold.
Turn her tables on me. Turn her tables in a wrong way.
And you try to cheat me out of what's mine. That's when I get angry. Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, with that said, I also need to plug Fans Power, Master Universe podcast, hosted by Tyler Baker and Joe Amato and myself. And that will also be a 2-man show tonight. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But until then, thanks again. And we will see you in the future. Talk about it.